Hey everyone, it's Jacqueline for Pixie Dust PhD, and in today's video I will be walking you through, in live time, booking a Disney Vacation Club reservation. I'll also show you modifying that reservation, as well as talk a little bit more about the waitlist. Much like fast passes or advanced dining reservations, Disney Vacation Club reservations open up at a certain day on a certain time. Trying to snag what you want can be sort of a stressful event. I'll walk you through these steps in my recent bookings, so hopefully you can get a decent idea what you may be up against too. This video will be a little bit longer since I will be showing you bookings more or less in live time. But hopefully you find this overview and lifetime booking helpful. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining me on this journey of booking a Disney Vacation Club reservation. If you're new here, hey, I'm Jacqueline. On this channel, we mostly talk about Disney Vacation Club as well as Walt Disney World. If you're new to Disney Vacation Club, please consider checking out my playlist of all the things you need to know about Disney Vacation Club. We break down jargon and I provide considerations for you regarding a Disney Vacation Club purchase. For this video, however, you don't need a ton of background DVC information. If you're generally familiar with booking hotels and also somewhat familiar with the Fast Pass or advanced dining reservation system at Walt Disney World, this shouldn't be too complicated to understand. This set of reservations is for my upcoming 2021 fall trip to Walt Disney World. If you're interested in the planning aspects of a Walt Disney World trip, please go ahead and check out the other videos on my channel. The part 1 video for my 2021 trip planning, which you can view by clicking the card in the corner here, or you'll find the link in the description below, goes over the rough plan for accommodations. This video absolutely builds on that video. Specifically, back when I made that video, we hadn't yet hit that 7-month mark prior to my trip. 7 months prior is when you can book Disney Vacation Club resorts that are not your home resort. That time has now passed and we made those bookings, so let's get into it. First, Disney Vacation Club bookings open up online at 8 a.m. Walt Disney World time or Eastern time. If you want to do this on the phone, Member Services opens up at 9 a.m. Walt Disney World time. Booking windows do apply, so if you have home resort priority, you can book that 11 months out, and if you don't have home resort priority at the resort you want to stay at, you get 7 months out. On that exact day that your booking window opens up, so exactly 11 months or exactly 7 months prior to when you want a vacation, there is a cap. On that exact day, you can only book up to 7 nights. If you're looking to book a longer trip, for example, say 10 nights all in the same accommodation, well then you will have to continuously wake up the next several days in order to tack 1 day at a time onto that reservation. With Disney Vacation Club, you are booking with vacation points. You can use previously banked points, your current use year's points, and you can borrow from the next use year. You can also purchase up to 24 one-time use points. At this time, those are $19 per point. Currently, you are not able to purchase those online and you must call Member Services to purchase them. For my upcoming 2021 trip in the fall, this is what we have so far. I'll be traveling along with my partner, so there's just 2 of us. At the beginning of the trip, we'll start at Universal and we have an offsite hotel booked for that. And then the last portion of the trip we have booked at Bay Lake Tower. Today's video will regard that middle portion, which previously was not booked. There are obviously a ton of options for this. We could fill those 4 nights with a variety of different combinations of Disney Vacation Club stays, as well as incorporating some off-site Disney hotels. When deciding what to do, there are many factors. First and foremost, of course, is the Disney Vacation Club availability. Next, we are hoping to tack the dining plan onto this portion of the trip. I did an entire video exploring the potential of adding a dining plan to this portion of our trip. You can view that by clicking the card in the corner here, or I will leave a link in the description below. After discussion with my partner, we decided that ideally we could do a 3-night deluxe dining plan. This, of course, would necessitate a 3-night on-property reservation. If you watched that recent dining plan video, you know I was also considering splitting it up to be 1 night of the Plus plan plus 2 nights of the Deluxe plan. This scheme balances the amount of food as well as monetary savings. That being said, my partner and I discussed it and we decided if possible it would be nice to minimize split stays and not book that setup just for the dining plan. Of course, if that's all that's available at DVC, well then we go with it. But we decided not to intentionally book something like that just for the dining plan. Points cost of the various resorts is of course also a factor. This year it was more of a factor than usual because there is currently a 50% borrowing limit. So typically you can borrow 100% of your points from the next use year and that would give us 90 extra points, but this year it was only 45. Obviously 45 points is a lot less than 90 and doesn't give us a ton of wiggle room. Therefore the value of the points matters more this year than it may in others. So overall we can borrow up to 45 points and we have 1 point left over from the current 2021 use year. This leaves us with a total of 46 points to play with. Then of course we can purchase up to 24 of those one-time use points, but we also decided that we didn't want to spend too much money purchasing extra points. So overall the plan was to prioritize the 3-night reservation. For us that would be Thursday through Saturday. We'll be using most of the points for that and then we would deal with the Wednesday night later. Hopefully that Wednesday night we can still stay DVC, but if not we can stay off-site near Disney Springs and that's no problem for us. As I previously mentioned, availability is a big factor, so we had several plans going into our booking day. Plan A, the ideal plan, would be Thursday through Saturday at Boardwalk in a standard view, and then that Wednesday we would book at Beach Club. This would be a total of 49 points, so we would need to purchase 3 one-time use vacation points. That Wednesday is going to be the day when we move from Universal down to Disney, so I'm not expecting it to be a big Disney parks day by any means. Staying at the Beach Club that night would be cool because we could make use of the pool during the day and also be super close to Epcot in order to pop in just to grab food. Sounds like the perfect relaxing day to me. And we agreed that 3 points at $19 a point would be worth it. Plan B again prioritizes that 3-night portion of the stay. If the Standard View Studio Boardwalk wasn't available, then we would try to snag up the Boardwalk View or the Garden or Pool View. Those views cost the same amount of points. Thursday through Saturday in either of those would cost 46 points, so the total amount of our points left. Then it would be to be determined what we would do Wednesday night. Probably we would stay off-site. Plan C is similar, just swapping out Beach Club for Boardwalk. This would cost 44 points for the 3 nights of the Beach Club. And then in either of those plans, B or C, we would immediately go on the waitlist for Thursday through Saturday at Boardwalk in a Standard View Studio. At the end of the day, Plan A is obviously the goal, but any of these plans, A through C, I would be very happy with. With any of these, we would be within walking distance to Epcot, and assuming dining plans are available by the time we're going, we would have that 3-night reservation in order to get a 3-night deluxe dining plan. Being the cautious person I am, we made some backup plans for our backup plans as well. Plan D was book 3 nights at Saratoga Springs, deal with that Wednesday night later. We decided on Saratoga Springs over Old Key West primarily because we are only traveling with the 2 of us. The studios over at Old Key West all come with 2 queen beds, and we really don't need a second bed. Saratoga Springs is that standard 1 bed and a couch. Plus, Saratoga Springs is slightly closer to Disney Springs. 3 nights at Saratoga is 38 points, so we would have excess points to use hopefully for Wednesday. However, 4 nights at Saratoga was slightly over 46 points, so we would have to call to buy a couple of one-time use points. If Saratoga somehow wasn't available, we would then try for Old Key West, followed by Animal Kingdom Villas. Again, we would figure out whether we would book 3 or 4 nights in total. I also did do some quick back-of-the-envelope math for a dining plan on a 4-night stay. We definitely would not do the deluxe dining plan for 4 nights, that just is way too much food. But on the plus plan, our table service credits would come out basically a wash, so we would get that monetary benefit from the snack credits. And we could also spread the dining out over 1 more day, which would be nice. Therefore, 4 nights at Saratoga Springs, Old Key West, or Animal Kingdom Villas would still allow us to add the dining plan to this portion of our stay. We just wouldn't be saving monetarily as much on this dining plan, the plus plan, as we would by buying 3 nights on the deluxe plan. The night prior to our 7-month booking window opening up, I went ahead and checked availability. Apologies that I forgot to take a screen recording. But ultimately, our plan A was totally available Thursday through Saturday, and a Standard View Boardwalk Villa was available, as well as that Wednesday at the Beach Club. Plan B was also available. A Boardwalk Pool or Garden View for Thursday through Saturday was available. Plan C, which would have been Thursday through Saturday at Beach Club, was not available as that Friday had been booked up. And then plans D through F at Saratoga Springs, Old Key West, or Animal Kingdom Villas were totally available. Before we get into the details of my booking, I would like to remind everyone again that this is for your entertainment and information. It's difficult to impossible to talk about DVC bookings without exact dates coming up. Please do not use this information in any nefarious way, including stalking. So booking day came, and at 7:59 I logged in and got all of my settings ready. Then I was ready to hit check availability as soon as the clock turned to 8. A brief note about this, in the past I've noticed that when I try to book fast passes, I normally have to start from the login screen. So my partner and I were both ready to check the DVC availability, and I was starting from the screen where I could check availability at 8 o'clock, and they were starting from the screen where they would log in. It turns out this was probably a mistake, and I think you can actually be on the screen where you have your dates highlighted and are ready to book at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock comes, I check availability, the screen loads, and I immediately search for Boardwalk to go there first. The Boardwalk View Villa was originally available, but in the time I took to make decisions or load screens or something, one of those nights got snagged up. So even though on the main page it came up as available, when I went to book it, it actually was continue to waitlist. I realized this in the moment and then hit back to go see what else was available. Having seen that the Boardwalk Standard View Studio was already not available, I went to the next choice, which would be Beach Club. Beach Club was the same as the night before, where the Friday night was booked up. Then I just did some sad scrolling to assess the situation, and yes, I couldn't book either Boardwalk or Beach Club in any form. So I moved on to the next part of the plan, which was Saratoga Springs. We could afford 3 nights right away. We could not book 4 nights because we did not have 2 of those one-time use vacation points in our account. Here you can see I'm using the 1 point left over from the current use year's point allotment, and then I'm going to go ahead and borrow the points necessary from next use year. But I get cold feet and I go back to look at the availability and see that the Boardwalk Standard View Studio is available for Friday and Saturday. I had a little brain fart and tried to book these days. But unfortunately, it was 7 months prior to that Thursday, not the Friday, so Friday and Saturday were still outside my booking window. I checked the garden or pool view as well as that boardwalk view again just to see if something magically appeared. Of course, this was a fruitless attempt. Similarly, that Friday night at Beach Club still was unavailable. So I've taken the hit to the gut. I've now processed that I'm not going to be able to book plan A, B, or C at this time. So I do finally go through with it and actually book those 3 nights at Saratoga Springs. Okay, and we have a confirmed reservation at Saratoga Springs for Thursday through Saturday night now. Now I'm going to start this process over in order to put myself on the wait list. I'm going to make a waitlist request for Thursday through Saturday at the Boardwalk Studios Standard View room. Click Continue to Waitlist. Then you can select the option for when you want it to expire, as well as if you want to replace a current booking. Similarly, you can let them borrow points or not. Add your guest information. The system always wants me to update my address to look slightly different than I put it in, etc. This is personal information, mostly we're going to skip it. And then you just submit your waitlist request and hope it goes through. Recently, I posted a video going over what we definitely know about the Disney Vacation Club waitlist, as well as some tidbits I've gotten from cast members and my one prior experience with the waitlist. You can view that video by clicking the card in the corner here, and I'll leave a link in the description down below. At the end of this booking saga, right at that 7-month booking window opening up for us, we ended up with that Thursday through Saturday booked at Saratoga. And then we had created a waitlist request for those same days, Thursday through Saturday, over at the Boardwalk in a standard view studio. Then, right when member services opened, my partner called to keep our plan moving forward. Remember, this whole time we really are working towards plan A, which is 1 night at the beach club followed by 3 nights at the Boardwalk. In order to get this plan, we do need to purchase 3 one-time use vacation points. Surprisingly, my partner didn't have to wait on hold hardly at all. Less than 2 minutes from calling, they were connected with a DVC cast member. Perhaps they just got very lucky, but that was nice. On this call, my partner bought 3 one-time use vacation points, and we also had the DVC cast member book us that 1 additional night, the Wednesday night over at Saratoga Springs. Now, they are automatically thinking of making your trip as easy as possible, so they connected those nights, so we now had a 4-night reservation at Saratoga Springs. My partner explained the plan to them that we were hoping to sort of have a 1 night plus a 3 night. Rather than keep the Saratoga reservation separate, so 1 night on Wednesday and then Thursday through Saturday, they added a note to the file. The note basically said, if/when the Boardwalk waitlist comes through, replace 3 of these Saratoga nights with Boardwalk, but leave the Wednesday night alone. Now, my partner knows quite a lot about Disney Vacation Club, but perhaps not quite as much as I know. I would have preferred them to be completely separate. Because, for example, if we manually caught a Boardwalk reservation open up, we would have to cancel all 4 nights of the Saratoga to get those 3 nights of the Boardwalk. Ultimately, though, I wasn't super worried because even if we lost out on Wednesday night at Saratoga, chances seemed high we could probably rebook it at Saratoga or Old Key West or Animal Kingdom. And really, if that didn't work out, we could stay off-site and it wouldn't be the end of the world. By 9:15 a.m. on that day we booked, we had all 4 nights booked at Saratoga Springs, and we had purchased 3 one-time use points. 2 of those were used for this reservation, so we had 1 leftover point in our account. Interestingly, these 3 one-time use points got assigned a home resort of the Grand Californian. So moving forward in clips, you will see that it looks like I have 2 home contracts, 1 at Bailey Tower, 1 at Grand Californian. The Grand Californian is just associated with the 3 one-time use points. I did not buy another contract. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a very persistent person. Similar to fast passes or advanced dining reservations, if I had a free 5 or 10 minutes, I would just log on and check availability. A couple of hours later, the same day, it turned out that the Boardwalk Garden/Pool View did become available for that Thursday through Saturday night. Therefore, I went ahead and modified our 4-night Saratoga Springs reservation. Rather than keep those 4 nights at Saratoga Springs, I modified this into the 3 nights at the Boardwalk in that upgraded garden or pool view. I did not modify the waitlist request though. Ultimately, we would still prefer to get Boardwalk Standard View Studio for those 3 nights instead. That would free up points to use to book something for Wednesday night. In October 2020, DVC made a big update allowing members to modify their one-time use vacation points online. Prior to that, you had to call into member services to do anything with them. You can see here when I'm modifying this reservation, it's letting me pick which points I want to use first. My 3 one-time use points, again coming up as Grand Californian points, or the points from my account. When you modify a reservation, you have to acknowledge the use year associated with the points when you're moving things around. Again, I'm still working towards plan A, so in my head we will be using all of these points, and I'm not concerned about where things get moved. I do want to use the one-time use vacation points first because those will expire with the 2021 use year no matter what. Next, I check our existing waitlist request to see if I can toggle the replace an existing reservation request. Previously, I had selected that I wanted the waitlist to replace our Saratoga Springs booking. Of course, now there is no Saratoga Springs booking. I figured I would call member services somewhere down the line to have them add a note manually to understand that ultimately 100% what we want is the Boardwalk Standard View. Feel free to replace whatever else is booked in those days. So we're feeling pretty good with Plan B acquired, but we still want to work towards Plan A. This morning, that Friday and Saturday in a Standard View Boardwalk Studio were available. 7 months prior to that Friday would be the next day in real time, so we went ahead and made a plan for booking that reservation the next morning. Assuming those 2 nights in the Standard View Boardwalk Studio were still available, we would go ahead and modify our current garden/pool view for 3 nights into those 2 nights in the Standard View. We did discuss the pros and cons of giving up a sure thing of having those 3 nights definitely booked versus only getting 2 nights. Ultimately, this was a risk we were willing to take. After getting that Friday and Saturday in a Standard View Boardwalk studio, we would then go ahead and book the Wednesday at Beach Club. Remember, we had purchased 3 one-time use points, so we would have enough points to do this. That Wednesday at the Beach Club had been available this whole time. We could have purchased more one-time use vacation points in order to book that right away. However, we decided we wanted to minimize the amount of one-time use vacation points we were buying. 3 seemed reasonable, somewhere between 6 and 14 seemed like too much money. After Friday and Saturday at the Boardwalk were booked and Wednesday at Beach Club was booked, we would then go ahead and book Old Key West for Thursday. This would cost 9 points. Thursday at the Boardwalk also cost 9 points, so this would be an equal exchange. Once everything was booked, we would then cancel the original waitlist request the Thursday through Saturday at the Boardwalk in the Standard View. Finally, we would make a new waitlist request of just Thursday Boardwalk Standard View. We did discuss the very real possibility that the waitlist never comes through and we would have to move rooms a bunch of times. Again, to each their own, but this was a risk that we were willing to take. Now it's the morning of the next day. This is 7 months prior to that Friday booking opening up. So at around 7:50 a.m., this is what availability looked like. You can see that Friday and Saturday nights in a Standard View Boardwalk studio were still available. So right now I'm feeling really good about our plan moving forward. Now, I learned from yesterday's booking experience, and I believe that you can be on the page where you are ready to book when 8 o'clock turns. I don't think you have to load this page. I think the page can already be loaded. So at 7:58 a.m., I'm getting ready. I go to the Boardwalk to look at the studio availability. In my head, I'm going to be selecting that Friday and Saturday and being ready to click continue when 8 o'clock turns. But unfortunately, in the last 8 minutes, someone has snagged that Saturday night. My partner and I had discussed the night before that if only one night was available in the Standard View Boardwalk studio, it probably wasn't worth mucking with what we already had. The plan for this booking day essentially got ruined with someone snagging up that Saturday night at the last minute. We didn't end up modifying or booking anything new at 8 a.m. on this day. The next day, I received a call while I was in a work meeting and they left a voicemail. Turns out it was DVC Member Services. The voicemail instructed me to call back as soon as I could as they had some questions about my waitlist request. At this time, I'm getting pretty excited because why would they be calling about my waitlist if it hadn't matched? And I also knew that the notes in my file about replacing my Saratoga Springs reservation no longer made sense to them. I had modified that Saratoga Springs reservation into a Boardwalk Garden View villa. I'm hoping they're calling me to clarify if I still want the Standard View over the Garden View. So I call back as soon as I can and I wait on hold for about 30 minutes. It turns out that yes, they are calling because the waitlist matched, but the notes in the file were unclear. They just wanted to make sure that I was okay with replacing the Garden View with the Standard View room. The DVC Member Services cast member was able to go ahead and book that waitlist request for me. They did note that I had extra points in my account. And I believe they were about to offer moving around points in my account sort of in the back end on their side to make sure that the points left in my account would be bankable. I told them we were anticipating booking something for Wednesday and not to worry about it. I could have had the Member Services cast member book Wednesday at Beach Club on the phone for me right then. Honestly, they were very nice, but they were moving a bit slow and I knew that I could take care of it myself very quickly. So I hopped off the phone and went to book a new reservation. Lo and behold, Beach Club was still available and I had the perfect amount of points in my account to book it. In the span of 2 days, we were able to complete Plan A. We now have Wednesday night at Beach Club and then Thursday through Saturday in a Standard View villa at the Boardwalk. This completes the accommodations for our entire upcoming trip. The first chunk we will spend at Universal, and then we will move to Beach Club, the Boardwalk, then Bay Lake Tower. I am expecting that the day of Tuesday will be the last day in the Universal Park, so we could stay at Universal offsite that night, but we might also just move to an offsite hotel down in Disney Springs to be closer to Disney. Now, that first Tuesday night is the only question, whether we will be staying closer to Universal or closer to Disney. That week and a half staying in studio-sized DVC villas cost 138 points. Here are some of my final thoughts for you to consider regarding Disney Vacation Club bookings and modifications. First, this was obviously a very positive experience for me where I got essentially everything I wanted. I'm going to guess that that is probably pretty unusual. The current DVC availability is pretty high given the pandemic. So certainly I would still say if you're dead set on staying somewhere, that should probably be your home resort. Second, I would like to emphasize the importance of having multiple plans. Without that home resort priority, the chances that you're going to get your dream, your plan A, that morning of your 7-month booking window opening up feel slim. I think it's good to book something. Personally, I felt comforted having something booked even if it wasn't exactly what I wanted. Next, you do have to consider your risk tolerance regarding one-time use vacation points. Those are absolutely use them or lose them. And if you end up losing them, you are just burning cash. We were fine with buying 3 points for under $60 total. If we ended up losing out on that, well, I would be disappointed, but it wouldn't be a big deal. Purchasing 14 points, though, is very different if you ask me. Everyone will have their own personal gauge on their risk tolerance, but it's something to consider before your booking day happens. Then of course there's some amount of luck involved, especially when it comes to the waitlist. I continued to do manual checks, and I'm so happy that my waitlist request came through, but had it not, I would still be doing manual checks just in case. I am always wishing you the best of luck with your waitlist request, but also having some persistence with manual checks may be beneficial for you. For you detail-oriented people out there, I hope you find this walkthrough helpful. I'm so thrilled this worked out so well for me, and within 2 days' time we have the Plan A booked. The dream situation is booked and done. I no longer have to check the Disney Vacation Club website for availability. If you have questions about making a Disney Vacation Club reservation, modifying that booking, or the waitlist, leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to get you a good answer. You can also hit me up on other social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram at PixieDustPhD. If you are already a DVC member and have experienced that 7-month booking window chaos, let me know how that went for you down in the comments below. I don't have any data, but it really does feel like I got super lucky. Hopefully bookings in the future go this smoothly for me, but honestly I will take this as a huge win. May the rest of your day be joyful and feel like getting that DVC waitlist request fulfilled, and we'll see you real soon at PixieDustPhD.